I'll let you know that a person named George, who's a community developer, is jumping on to do a takeover on my account.
The eyes may be able to see, but without a heart, you cannot feel. Believe it. People who never place some fences between us. One that will take us up to the sky, you know that'll free us. One that will teach us and not take us to war, they will feed us. A leader won't keep.
Whoa, good angle. What's up, everybody? This is George Steele Samuels, and I'm gonna be taking over String's Snapchat account today to talk all things community. So first up, before I get started, just want to give a shout out to String. I've known her for a while. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia too. Always been a huge fan of her work. So just a little bit about me. By day, I'm a community manager for a global fintech company called Iris. By night, I host a podcast called The It Will Come Show and also run a mastermind group called The Pack 3 times a year. Now, a quick backstory before I get into the tips, but essentially I started out as a front-end developer, went into animation, then sales, then business development, and then finally community management. All right, let's get on with the tips, right? All right, tip number 1, understand the difference between a network and a community. Now, there are a lot of people who interchange these two, but they are different. A network can be large and loose, but communities should go a lot deeper and those connections should be stronger. If you're looking to build a real resilient community, take a look at your network, break them down into smaller units, and then help develop those relationships, and then help develop relationships between those units. And look, I learned this lesson from Adam O'Donnell, who's an ex-commando, who I interviewed on my podcast. And essentially it's about getting these small group units to work together like families in a suburb. All right, tip number 2, understand the Dunbar number. So in 1993, an anthropologist named Robin Dunbar posited that the maximum number of relationships that people can sustain and develop is 150. As an ex-animator who loves games still, research and studies into other gaming communities and online communities notice that when you hit 150, groups naturally break apart. So communities are about going deeper. Is it no wonder that social networks have caused us to be more connected than ever, but still feel isolated and disconnected?
And that security follow me everywhere, so I never actually am alone. I just always feel alone.
You said it, Drake. So tip number 3 is kind of 2-in-1, but it's understanding the 99-1 rule and also where you sit on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All right, so the 99-1 rule means that 90% of your online community or offline is going to be lurking, and then 9% are going to be engaged, and then 1% will actually contribute. Want to see this applied in the real world? Remember the 99% movement? Essentially, you've got the 90%, the 9%, and then the 1% right there. Now, it can seem kind of messed up, almost to the point because of the research. It could be a universal law, but if you learn from it, you can set your expectations too. P.S. Thanks to you guys, I just got brought up on the fact that I said Haslow instead of Maslow. So thanks, Olives J.E. Now, in regards to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, here's a diagram of what that looks like. So essentially what it's saying is that you've got, base needs that you need to take care of before people can think about other things. And in a startup, as someone who's gone from startup to corporate, they typically devalue real community building because of the need for sales and cash flow in the very early days. And this is completely understandable. So if the rise in my type of profession is anything to go by, I predict that in the future, a lot more startups and companies will need to set those foundations for a real community longer term. And what's the best way to think about it? Think of yourself as a chief of a village, right? You're building your nation, you got a long-term vision, and you're looking to support your people, and whether you're a man or a woman. Now, doesn't that make sense as to why we have chief executives? We got the chief bit from old times, still applies to the modern world. Woo! All right, there you have it, my tips for you guys for today. And here's just a quick recap of all the things that we covered. And so before I sign off, I got a final question to you that I ask most of my podcast guests. What does community mean to you? Hit reply. Now, this is a sign off I use on my Snapchat and my show, but remember, through patience and persistence, it will come. All right, and just one last thing. If you are someone who's looking for more accountability by leveraging community and strong ones, I've got something called the Pact that is about to start February 7th.